Dear friends, welcome back to Akshadare. Nanu Nima Devraj. I hope you guys are doing great and learning great and earning great. So today is 11th August. I hope you guys are preparing to celebrate the Independence Day on 15th of this month. So I hope you guys are also learning English very well and also following the tips which I have given in the previous videos. So before going to start today's session, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment. If you guys like the video, please share the video with your friends or colleagues. Even they also can utilize the opportunity. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I am repeating you again. So anyway, let's start today's session. Today's newspaper reading. So let's see what's in today's newspaper. Yes, guys, let's see what's in today newspaper. Make it visible. RBI leaves key interest rates unchanged. 63 retired IPS officers right to center. Parliament dissolved amid speculation. Should schools completely ban smartphones? Experts feel gadgets are taking a toll on students. India meets Japan in hacked hockey semi-final. Peace will be restored in Manipur. PM assures LS. Government wins the no confidence motion. Modi asks the opposition to try again in 2028. Many of the problems that had played up in Manipur at their origin during Congress regimes, he says. Bill seeks to remove CGI from panel that picks CEC and ECs. Cybersecurity policy gets cabinet nod. Bangalore top club's license renewed. SC refuses to interfere with age norm for class first. Education Department orders closure of 63 unauthorized schools by August 14th. Shakti scheme, no smart cards, Karnataka RTCs to opt for passes. ISRO releases two images of Earth and Moon taken by cameras on board Chandrayaan 3 spacecraft. Police in the dock for demanding money from woman complainant. Bandephalia police allegedly sought money to file documents pertaining to an investigation before the court. Too bad. Bangalore Turf Club license renewed for August. Races to resume today. Sources say the CM also raised the issue of increasing membership slots at this club by 50, a demand that dates back to 2017. I'll stick to PAC advice, says HK Patil. The sleep company, sleep peacefully. HC refuses to interfere with 6-year age criterion fixed for admission to class first. It passes the order while dismissing a petition filed by a 4-year-old represented by her father. Prime of Asia, I am convinced that there is a core focus on enabling a holistic development of students, and therefore one student's inconvenience that he or she will be compelled to repeat the class cannot in itself constitute a ground to interfere with the guidelines. ISC to organize Gate 2024. Item seized from IMA group stolen. Government of Karnataka, who are all interested to crack the gate exam. So here is the notification. So government, the IASC will be conducting. I will conduct the gate 2024 exams. So interested can apply from this month. Damro. SIT probe order to deliver justice to Kempana DKS. Contractors who have taken up BBMP projects have stopped ongoing work and maintenance, demanding clearance of bills that have been pending for 26 months. Vamaya alleges BBMP Contractors Union as compliant to Rahul Gandhi. Former Congress councillors and found it. Experts citizens slam state government for halting projects in city. Cybersecurity policy gets gets cabinet node. Shakti scheme no smart cards. Karnataka artists are to opt for passes. Ford sub 6 Biscom transformers stolen from Devanarli. City only dependent on Kaveri water. Time to look for alternatives. Facilitation of scholars. Meghdatu Padayatra, 9 cases against CM, the Deputy CM and others withdrawn. The earlier BJP government had slapped police cases against the Congress leaders for violating COVID-19 protocols. Sunflower oil to replace palm oil in Anganwadi centers. Cabinet panel to study levy on attacks on illegal buildings. Leader of the opposition to be appointed up to August 15, says Bombay. FCI asks wheat flour mills to participate in IE auction. HC tells CEX Corp to deposit 25 lakh during pendency of appeal in blocking order dispute. KSMCA donates 1 crore to CM's relief fund. Transit-oriented development has great potential, but only with a master plan. TOD looks fine in a greenfield area, but what about in a sprawling metropolis like Bengaluru or even its outskirts, left to grow unregulated in wild, apertured ways? The TOD should not just be about increased floor area ratio; it should also meet the social. Specialized daycare center for chemotherapy inaugurated. Conjunctivitis, AI-driven searching links low vitamin D with a higher risk of allergy. Symptoms of conjunctivitis include redness, itching, swelling, excessive tearing, discharge from the eyes. Enough gold in KGF for another 100 years. Economy steps will not affect development schemes in Mysore. Karnataka in focus, DK and Udupi have high on development. Asked while Kirana district, a pioneering institution, many speakers from the region, the Whaler of Rani Abaka. It's a tough fight with narcotics for police and district officials in Dakshina Kannada. Since June, other city police have taken up a drug-free Mangaluru drive. The drive gained strength and the Dakshina Kannada district administration too joined hands following the call by Home Minister G. Panavishwara to free the coastal districts from drugs. 63 retired Indian forest officers from across India right to center on misuse of Forest Rights Act. They say that as per the Act, claimants who are in possession of forest land as of December 13, 2005 are eligible for grant of title over forest land. Ahead of Chandrayaan 3 leader landers soft landing, ISRO assesses the current situation around the moon. The tragedy of a tradition. In Malanarli, Vasant and a newborn were confined to a kudlu outside their home and outpouring rain, resulting in the child's death. Even Abidas raised voices against the practice. Many from the Kardugulla community still impose it. Find Janvi TR and Ajant or who travel to the area less than 100 kilometers from Bangalore, a city known for the tech innovation and global thought. I do not like sitting outside. I have a lot of friends who do not practice this ritual anymore, but my family wouldn't listen. I too am devoted to the our God, but I need not be this way, Vasanta. Metropolis, a Catch Them Hang, Conference of the Birds, a musical aims to embed the ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice in children. Demolitions as state sanctioned collective punishment. Risky recourse. India's Myanmar country is its paradoxical policy. Let's read this editorial page. Demolitions as state sanctioned collective punishment. The aftermath of the recent violence in New Haryana saw what is now a familiar pattern. Immediately after the violence, the local administration, backed by the state, demolished a number of homes in localities and neighborhoods. These were the norms and neighborhoods. A few political officials claimed to which the accused rioters belonged. The demolitions in Anu are just the latest iteration of what has come to be called bulldozer justice. For more than a year, from Kargun to in Madhya Pradesh to Kambat in Gujarat to Jangipuri in Delhi to Nagaon in Assam to many others, the demolition of homes as a form of frontier justice as a response to political violence has become a standard feature of administration. A fig leaf of legitimacy that falls away. And carrying out the demolition of the state and its officials speaks with a forked tongue. The public and official justification is that the demolitions are carried out in order to remove illegal structures or encroachments. Municipal laws that authorize the removal of unauthorized structures are invoked as the legal cover for such action. This is the justification the state sticks to when it is challenged in court. However, even as it does so, politicians and at times even officials of the administration go on record to say that the purpose of the demolitions is to teach a lesson to alleged rioters. First, it is important to note that the state's public justification fails on its own terms. Over the years, the courts have recognized that what we euphemistically refer to as unauthorized structures are often the dwelling places of economically marginalized and vulnerable people who have been failed by the state and its obligation to provide shelter to all its citizens. Consequently, other than enforcing basic procedural requirements such as adequate notice, courts have also insisted that before demolitions are carried out, the administration must conduct a survey to check whether the residents are eligible for rehabilitation schemes, and if so, complete their rehabilitation through a process of meaningful engagement before any demolitions are done. Rehabilitation, in turn, does not simply mean picking up people from one part of the town and dumping them in another, but ensuring that there is no substantial disruption. There is no substantial disruption to their precarious lives. The basic purpose is to ensure that the state does not simply make its own citizens homeless and who know with no recourse. Doing so is a marker of an uncivilized society. It is obvious that the instant demolitions that we see do not comply with these procedural or substantive requirements. Last year, it was found that notice in a demolition case was actually backdated by the administration to give an appearance of complying. In the new demolitions, there has been widespread allegations that the notice and the demolitions were carried out on the same day. The state's attempts to provide a fig leap of legitimacy to its demolitions therefore fall away at the slightest scrutiny, a form of frontier justice. But at the end of the day, everyone knows that what is happening is not a dispute over municipal law, zoning regulations, and unauthorized structures. It is clear that what is happening is state sanctioned collective punishment, which is predominantly targeted against specific communities instead of engaging the machinery of law enforcement and justice, which is what states bound by the rule of law do. The state prefers to mete out a form of frontier justice, enforcing order through violence and itself becoming the lawbreaker. This is evident from the fact that, as pointed out above, politicians, administrators, and even on occasion, the police have stated that the true purpose of demolitions is to target the homes of alleged reuters. It is evident from the timing of the demolitions coming instantly after cases of violence. It is evident from the fact that the reality of urban design is such that zoning regulations are dead letters. As people have repeatedly pointed out, a good part of Delhi's most affluent neighborhoods has been built in violation of zoning regulations. Somehow, however, it is not these colonies that face the bulldozer, but the vulnerable and the marginalized. And it is evident from the fact that the demolitions have happened there predominantly in Muslim neighborhoods. In the aftermath of communal violence, this has admittedly not always been the case. In Uttar Pradesh, demolitions have been carried out against the properties of various gangsters. Until last year's Jahangirpuri violence, a Hindu man's shop was demolition for no perceivable reason. However, it has been repeatedly noticed, and No is the most recent example. And when the bulldozers run, it is primarily in Muslim neighborhoods. This pattern has now become impossible to ignore. Just a few days ago, when issuing a stay order on the new demolitions, the High Court of Punjab and Haryana observed that what was going on had the appearance of ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is not a phrase that should even be used slightly, and the tragedy is that in this case, its use was undoubtedly opposite. Bulldozer justice might satisfy the anger of people who have been caught up in its yachts and who are accustomed to seeing the criminal justice system grind on for years without result. Indeed, whether it is extrajudicial killings or home demolitions, this is indeed the justification that is trotted out that the courts are too slow, too prone to giving bail, and too indulgent in handing out acquittals. Therefore, in order to assuage public anger, the state must take it upon itself to deliver justice outside the bounds of law. It should be obvious that this is dangerous and destructive logic. Bulldozer justice is a form of a collective punishment where a punishment is not only meted out before guilt is proven, but along with the supposedly guilt and issue, their innocent people, family members are also punished. No amount of populist satisfaction can justify such an action. Furthermore, punishment without guilt, punishment at the discretion of the state, violates the rule of law. The rule of law is all that stands between a marauding state and the basic safety of individuals. Abandoning the rule of law for frontier justice is the first step towards an authoritarian society where one's safety, physical professions, and even life and liberty will be at the whims and fancies of state officials, the silence of the judiciary. In this context, it falls to the courts to enforce the rule of law and the constitution. Unfortunately, for more than a year, the courts have been silent. Even the Supreme Court of India has, when faced with this situation, purported to accept the state's justification of going after unauthorized structures. In doing so, the courts have to use the words of George Orwell, chosen to reject the evidence of the highs and high years. The High Court of Punjab and Haryana's orders marks the first time that the judiciary has taken action notice of this pattern of lawless bulldoze justice. One hopes that it is the beginning of the judiciary reinforcing basic constitutional principles and values against state impunity. Let's go to the next page. Risky recourse. RBI inflation fighting metal will be tested in the months ahead. India's Myanmar quandary it's a paradoxical policy. India's Myanmar quandary it's a paradoxical policy. July 31st and August 1st will be recorded as the crucial dates. Crucial dates. When the history of Myanmar's ongoing tragedy was written. In the first case, the acting president of Myanmar, Mintes, we announced the fourth extension of the emergency. From extension of the emergency for another 6 months, which is in violation of the 2008 constitution. In the second instance, the military regime decided to release several political prisoners and even reduced the sentences imposed on Da Hang San Suu Kyi and the deposed President Win Mint. Mr. Suu Kyi was also moved out of prison to house arrest. However, these developments do not signal the dawn of a democratic and peaceful Myanmar. Emergency and elections. The extension of the emergency further delays the elections proposed by the military. Min Aung Liang, the coup administrator, justified the extension due to the failure to establish normalcy in large parts of the country. However, it is this pursuit of normalcy that has resulted in suffering with ASLD or the harmed conflict location or even data project, a disaggregated data collection analyst and a crisis mapping project, reporting that Myanmar civilians witnessed 2.5 times more violence than those in Afghanistan. The military regime's relentless campaign includes an average of over 30 strikes per month in 2023. Surprisingly, the Tatmadaw, the military of Myanmar, exerts real control in only 30 to 40% of the territory. As in admissions from the Burmese military and a report of the Special Advisory Council for Myanmar, a factitious national election would lead to the loss of the credibility if it is conducted only in a third of the country. Moreover, the reshuffling within the military backed Union Solidarity and Development Party and Kin Yi is aimed at adding more military hardliners, further raising concerns about the junta's commitment to democracy. The decision by the National League for Democracy decision not to participate in the new elections, combined with the exclusion of smaller parties through the new party registration laws, leaves no viable opposition to the USDP in a parliament whose constitutional structure gives the military a practical veto. The junta's decision to reduce Mr. Suu Kyi's sentence and shift her from the prison is a move that has perplexed a few. Yet it is not a step towards democracy, despite being the Tatmadaw biggest rival. Mr. Sukis has demonstrated a willingness to compromise and work with the military. She remains the rallying point for political change in Myanmar despite international criticism over our opposition as stand and role in the Rohingyas persecution. Some protests may ease with these symbolic gestures, but more importantly, Mr. Asuki return could potentially split the national unity government led resistance. A young generation of activists is leading the NUG and its cooperation with ethnic armed organizations and even reconciliation with Rohingyas. This could all change if Mr. Suki is back in active politics. These symbolic gestures by the junta has said may ease some protest and allow the military to claim progress over international and regional appeals, possibly leading to a lifting of sanctions and revived economic prospects. Additionally, they offer political bandwidth and a face saving taken to actors engaging with the junta, such as India. Indian policy at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and the coup, India took a proactive approach by providing food and ration assistance. However, the plight of the Myanmaris people seems to have faded from memory, with accusation of instigating violence in Manipur replacing it. Communities along the border have already defied the Home Ministry by providing shelter to the refugees. Concerns over trafficking and drug smuggling in Myanmar led to India suspending the free movement regime in September 2022. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar raised the issue of infrastructure projects and stability in border areas with his Myanmar counterpart Tan Swe in Bangkok in July, and the silence of the Mekong Ganga cooperation meetings. India has also supported the Association of Southeast Asian Nations 5-point consensus. Nevertheless, India's policy towards Myanmar presents a paradox. India's official rhetoric and commitment to democracy in Myanmar is in contrast with its policy framed through the lens of its security concerns in North East India and relations with China. For example, India's announcement of the Sairong Mawang Buchua railway project near the Myanmar border under India's Act East policy aims to counter China's railways access in Myanmar through Yunnan and the ambitious China-Myanmar economic corridor. Disturbingly, sources such as Justice for Myanmar, SACM, and the United Nations Special Rapporteur have reported an increase in India's arms supply to the military since the coup. Harming the Tatmadaw not only undermines India's position on restoring democracy but also adds fuel to the fire, which spills over regularly across the border. An approach to pursue India's policy options in Myanmar are challenging but not limited. The relaxation of Mr. Suki prison sentence may provide an opportunity for India to engage with her and free democracy actors, including the NUG. Additionally, the government and media must avoid blanket securitization and piling up incoming refugees, many of whom have ties of kinship in India. This approach is essential to prevent further violence and foster an environment of care and compassion. This is about the Myanmar history, Myanmar issue, need intervention. Should there be a blanket ban on smartphones in schools? Hans civil election campaign. The 45th US President Hans has once again dragged the bar for civility in an election campaign down to the nadir that it was. Enduring adversity, picking up the threads. Peace will be restored in Manipur. IPM tells LS. Collegium proposes Transfer of Gujarat HC judge to Patna. Woman alleges a gang rape by Koki men. Following a complaint, the police registered an FIR. A memorandum demanding disarmament of civilians has been submitted to PM. 10 Koki Joe MLAs request PM to retain Assam rifles. J&K surrendered its sovereignty to India absolutely, completely SC. The limitations placed on the legislative power of a parliament cannot be constructed to mean that J&K, unlike other princely states, retained its sovereignty. Three injured in an anti-militancy operation in Anantnag district. Government stopped seeking a restoration of old pension scheme. Aadhaar endowment devices to get Navik link. SC questions the role of PIL practitioners in Bilki's case. Veerana tribal leader Arvind Natham quits Congress. Why has not PM made any concrete statement on Manipur? Asks Congress. Party says Modi, grappled by Congress phobia, left many questions on the state unanswered. Adir Ranjan Chaudhary formally complains to Lok Sabha Speaker against the expunging of key words from Rahul Gandhi's speech in House. Disordering blow, Amit Shah's remarks draw sharp reactions from Koki group. In Parliament, he said Koki immigrants from Myanmar were contributing to tension in Manipur. NDRL Mizo National Front backs no trust motion. Adir Ranjan Chaudhary suspended from Lok Sabha. Shaming or demeaning many is a concern for all. Finance Minister Sindhya takes aim at former friend and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. OIC raises issues of minorities, flags atmosphere of hate, mob lynching. India Japan studying ways to restart a trilateral cooperation with Sri Lanka. Conference discusses possible collaborations on infrastructure and investment, with lessons learned after cancellation of projects by previous Gotabaya government. Both countries had come to the Iceland nation's rescue during last year crisis. No violence well planned to garner a full dividend. So two elephants die in separate collisions with freight trains. Tushar Gandhi files complaint against a Bide for his remarks. Doctors can choose not to treat unruly patients. Rajya Sabha adjourned in 36 minutes as opposition. Government spar over rules. Soon AI will allow you make a UPI payment using voice. And busy world's rates lifts financial year 24 inflation forecast to 5.4%, retains growth wave. Ola Cab's loss widens to 3,082 crore in financial year 22. July 1st, just 1% of 98,000 recognized startups given IT exemptions. RBI rightly cautious on inflation. SBI cheap. Not unduly concerned about Russian's GSEC investment. Champ last Sanmo post 28 crore loss in quarter 1. Now this is added to start operations. Chola Financial given net rises 36% to 792 crore. Yeah, unveils new logo and Tata rebranding push. Wildfire destroys Hawaiian town, leaving at least 36 dead. Presidential candidate shot dead in Ecuador after rally. US calls for curbs on investments in India and China. Meet hands with a roadmap to save Amazon. Spy US citizens moved out of prison in Iran. We have a solid chance to make the final, says Kumar Subramanian, auspicious Queen priming to score in future event. Japanese test avoids the favorite India in the semi-finals. We stuck to our fresh structure and game plan, says Pultan. Rani and Sadha named coaches of girls and boys sub-junior teams. Skipper Rohit admits number 4 slot is an issue for India. Arjun Boy Viditha advance. Ampi bounces back. Chennai starts the season and style with a win over Hyderabad. Indian triumphs. Nagal crashes out in last 16 round. Netherlands hidden 5 wouldn't affect deadlines, CAB president. Sindhu and Satvik Chirag fair get first round bye. Nikki and Adam script an epic triumph by saving 9 match points in a row. Oja's Aditi's next target. Hangzhou Gold. The Hang duo not inclined to sit on its World Championships lollies. It determined to keep all the post-World Championship distractions at bay and refocus on their game to make India proud again at the Asian Games. Test yourself on some assorted trivia and questions across various sports and games. An immortal cell line and a reparation 70 years later. Lacks cancer provided the mutation required for our cells to evade normal cell death. HeLa cells were the first human cells to be successfully cloned in 1953 by Theodore Puck and Philip High Marcus at the University of Colorado. Since then, HeLa cells have continually been used for research. Rocky by Mama, the importance of sleep for new mothers. Sensitizing health workers to transgender gay men. China's display depletion cause for concern. EPFO's investments in ETFs during April-July this fizzle. Disability from pollution-related diseases. Rise in domestic passenger vehicle wholesales in July. Interstate transmission system projects completed. Nuclear products worth sold by Russia to the US and Europe 1.7 billion. China's depletion cause for concern. Why is China experiencing depletion while other countries grapple with rising inflation? What role does falling demand play? Amidst global inflation concerns, what factors are contributing to China's current depletionary trend? How does deflation impact consumer behavior? And could it potentially hinder economic growth in China? Will the federal fund hike impact the developing country debate? How will the 21-year high federal funds rate affect global economies? Are developing countries prepared for the consequences of federal fund rate increase? Redefining Bollywood, introspection and the quest for authenticity. Bollywood is grappling with self reflection as iconic production houses and directors challenge conventional narratives and question stereotypes in their recent releases. The industry navigates a dedicated balance between a genuine transformation and retaining its traditional essence. India's GM D. Gukesh recently overtook GM Vishwanathan Anand to become India's number one and world number 9 in the FIDI live ratings. Here is another quiz on chess prodigies. This is the last page, guys. Due to some reasons, yes, this is the last page, a text and context page. I hope you guys have are enjoyed the newspaper reading. Please read the newspaper at least 40 minutes to make you better in English communication. See you in the upcoming videos, guys. Please subscribe the channel, like and comment for more videos related to education, healthcare, and personal interviews. So see you in the upcoming videos. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.